Hello, welcome or welcome back if you're new. I'm Eleni, and today we have a library haul for you. So I went to 2 libraries today, and I also got my book of the month, and I found a random book in the back of my car that I had got a while ago and never hauled. So let's start with book of the month. This month I chose Darling Girl, which is a Peter Pan retelling. I'm so excited to read this. I think it's gonna be really good. It's about Wendy's granddaughter who gets kidnapped, and Wendy's daughter needs to get her back. So the cover is gorgeous, I think. And I'm, like I said, really excited to read it. It should be good, I think. I hope. And then the one random book I found in the back of my car I got a while ago is called Swimming Lessons. It is also a book of the month book, but it's not one from my purchases. This is actually from December 2016, it says in the back. And I think I got this at a little free library, or I got it at Goodwill. I can't remember. But I remember I got it a while ago, and the description sounded cool. So I was down for it. Oh, there's my receipt. It was from Goodwill. So it was 99 cents. That's how my Goodwill works. Books are 99 cents, which I love. Alright, so from library number 1, I'll show you what I rented first, and then I'll show you what I picked up at the book sale. So the book I rented or borrowed is Reckless Girls by Rachel Hawkins. And this was a book of the month pick, I think in February or March. I didn't pick this one. I think instead of choosing this one, I went with The Paris Apartment. I believe it was that one. Or I did The Golden Couple. I can't remember which month it was, like I said. But it sounds really good. It's about a bunch of girls who end up on an island, and they like have to survive, and they get stranded, and I'm pretty sure cannibalism is involved. And it sounds really good. So I'm really excited to read this. And then I purchased 5 books from my local library, and it just so happens that they were having poetry and plays on sale, and I was looking for poetry, so they were half off. So instead of 50 cents, they were 25 cents, or instead of $1, they were 50 cents, depending on if it was hardcover or softcover. So here's my stack from that. I did get my boyfriend 1 book too, so I hope he likes that. I picked up A Raisin in the Sun. Is it gonna focus? There we go. By Lorraine Hansberry. I have never read this, and I think this must have been a high school student's copy because it is annotated just a little bit. So I'm really excited to read this. So it is a play, and it is written as such with the characters and different acts. And it's just a classic, and I'm excited to read it and see what it's about. So that's really all I have to say about that. I actually have no idea what this is about. I just know it's a classic that I didn't have to read in high school, so I wanted to experience it. The next book I picked up is this little book called Garden Poems. And it says Every Man's Library Pocket Poets. So it's just a collection of poems. I thought it was really cute. It's so tiny and it's green, and I love it. So I'm really just excited to read poetry this spring. I'll finish up the poetry book. So I got Emily Dickinson's poems, and then in this same kind of, it must have been like a collection of classic poetry, I got Robert Frost's 3 books. So I'm really excited to have this version of these 2 books. And the book I got for my boyfriend is Shane Victorino, The Flying Hawaiian. My boyfriend's a very big Red Sox fan, and he really likes reading sports books. So for 50 cents, you gets a book. All right, from library number 2, I borrowed 2 books and bought 2 books. So the first book I borrowed is You've Reached Sam by Dustin Thao. And my best friend read this book and said it totally devastated her. So I'm really excited to read this book and be totally devastated, because that is just how it goes. It's about this girl, what's her name again? Rachel? Julie? Her name's Julie. And Julie was dating Sam. She had her whole life planned out with him, and then he died, and she was really upset, obviously, and she called him on his phone to listen to his voice message, to hear his voice, and he answers. So I'll be spending some nights crying it out with this book. Can't wait. The second book I borrowed is also a grief story. What? I don't know why I'm doing this to myself. It's a graphic novel called Dancing at the Pity Party, a dead mom graphic memoir, by Tyler Fetter. So, again, I don't know why I'm diving into these 2 grief stories, especially since I know one devastated one of my best friends, and this synopsis on the back just sounds really heart-wrenching. But I clearly just need to get out some emotions. Yeah, so this is the story of Tyler Fetter and her life from when she found out that her mom was diagnosed with late-stage cancer. And it's, like I said, in graphic format. And it's a YA book. They're both YA books, actually. Why are they doing that to YA kids? I don't know. But I'm excited to read both of those, and I'll keep you posted on how they are. I'll let you know in my end of the month wrap up. So the 2 books I purchased are also book of the month books. The first one is The Chalk Man, and it says it's from December 2017. This is a horror kind of thriller. It's about a boy or man, and when he was a child, he and his friends used to draw chalk figures to signal to each other around town, and one day one of the chalk figures leads him to finding a dead body. And then in adulthood, he and his friends receive in the mail chalk drawings, and then they start dying off. So he has to figure out who's doing it and revisit his past in order to save his life. So good. And the last book that I purchased, another book of the month book, is the Ex Hex, which has been on my TBR list for so long, probably since last October. This, appropriately so, was the October 2021 book of the month, or one of their selections from that month. And I was really surprised to see this here, and I can't wait to read this. Part of me wants to wait until October to read both of these picks because they give me spooky vibes, but I just don't know that I'll be able to do that. I find a lot of book of the month books at Goodwill and stuff, so I've only been a member of book of the month for, this is my 6th month, but I have a good amount on the shelf behind you from just finding them at Goodwill, like I said, finding them at my library book sales, and also finding them at little free libraries. So if you don't want to be paying for book of the month, I mean, if you do, my referral is down below. It'll save you some money. But if you don't, I would definitely recommend frequenting some book sales. You know what I mean? So thank you for joining me. Let me show you my full stack. Okay, so here are all the books I've got for this month. I'm really excited to read all these. What? And like I said in my last video, this is exactly why I only added 5 books to my TBR list this month. Okay? I finished 2 books today. I finished Finley Donovan is Killing It, and I finished one that wasn't on my TBR, but I mostly just forgot to include it. It was a graphic called Amazon's something an abolitionist, I can't remember, but it's about feminism through history and women in history and everything that they've done to change the world and make like today what it is. And it was really good. I finished that today. I borrowed that from the library before. So I've got 2 books down for this month, and today is the 5th of May. So hopefully I can finish a few more and then start working on some of these, because especially the poetry ones, I'm really excited to dive into those for spring and summer. And I honestly did not know that Emily Dickinson wrote poetry, and I'm really excited to read some of her poems. And I'm really excited to read these garden poems too, because the book is so tiny and it makes me so happy. Alright, thank you for joining me. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And I hope you stick around, subscribe, and like this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!